Hey guys, Mancake here with another video. Going live. I haven't made a video in a while. See how this holds up live, and if it doesn't work, I might have to re-record it on my phone. A lot's happened. I've been podcasting a little bit, but I have not made a video in a while. Basically, obviously, lots happened since I made a video. I'll just simplify it. Yesterday, we defeat the New York Red Bulls 2-1. A team that we have not. I think they said we were 1-3 all time against them. We beat them in the home finale last year. I know. We beat them last year in the home finale because I was there. But other than that, I think that's the first time we won at New Jersey. They play two places. They play at Red Bull Arena, and then they also play at they have an outdoor, it's kind of a high school football field, kind of a smaller stadium, more intimate stadium. This was at Arena. Looked like there were like 20 fans there. Obviously, it was exciting because obviously something else happened this week. FC Cincinnati finally got into MLS. Obviously didn't quite cover it as much as I wanted to. But yeah, we're in MLS. We are going to be starting in 2019. Looks like it'll be the Eastern Conference. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. I have a new sport to finally get into. Like I said, I tried a while back, a couple years back, before FCC existed, I tried to get in MLS and like the crew. Because I'm a Blue Jacket fan for the NHL. So I mean, I like Ohio State, so I'm no stranger liking Columbus. But long story, it's in another video. I couldn't really get emotionally invested in them for whatever reason. And then SEC came by, and obviously I got hooked. So I tried to get into that league previous, and it didn't really work. And this whole time since FCC has come, they have announced that their whole intention from the start was to get into MLS. And since then, I've kind of watched MLS, but not want to get all the way into it emotionally or get into it because knowing if Cincinnati gets gypped on this bid, I'm going to have to act like it doesn't exist. But now I can fully get into it because next year we will be there. They will play at Nippert, their stadium now, for the 2019 and 2020 season, which is, I think, what everyone was expecting. It just took a lot longer to get there. From the announcement, it seemed like the delay was basically MLS wanted the West End. They did not want Newport. They did not want Oakley. Now, it would be interesting to see if they could not have got West End. FCC would then have to have pushed MLS's hand. What if MLS said no to Cincinnati at Oakley? Was West End a deal breaker? We'll never find out now because they got West End. But it would be interesting to see was West End a deal breaker? I don't think it would have been. I think they would have worked at Newport or Oakley. It would have been a little more contested at Oakley. I've never been to Oakley or West End. We've been. Me and my wife have been to Over the Rhine because they have a Cincy shirts, which is like a shirt shop. We got red stuff there. It's Over the Rhine. It's like right by near West End, but I've never been to that school where they're going to build the new stadium. But they're going to build a new school. A new stadium for the Stargell, a new Stargell Stadium, which was a high school football stadium for Cincinnati Public Schools. They're going to basically tear that down, build it kind of caddy corner across the street, and then they're going to use where the stadium is now a 22,000 seat stadium, which is exciting. And then Cincinnati is now a three major league sport team city, which I found. There's actually only 22 cities in the United States that have three major professional sports teams, which I did not know. I would have thought with 4 or 5 pro leagues that there would be more than 22. I just would have thought. I was surprised it was that low. So yeah. But other than that, on the field, FC Cincinnati rebounded. They lost last week. Me, my son, and wife were there. At Nippert. It was kind of frustrating because everyone knew we were getting in on Tuesday. So about halfway through the game, it basically ended up being the home opener was the same way. They scored early, and we just didn't get anything going. This game was, I think, in a lot of ways worse because it was later in the season, and we were playing so well going into that game. We were, for the 3 or 4 games prior, we were scoring 3 or 4 goals a game. Now, we didn't against Charlotte. That was the one outlier. But we were scoring a lot. 3 to 4 goals, 2, 3, 4 games in a row in the USL is a big deal. That does not happen often in the USL. That's why I think if we can ever figure out our offense, we have the ability to, like, we have the talent to be, like, similar to Golden State in the NBA. Like, we have, I believe, higher talent than the USL. The thing right now, evening us out, we went back in the first place after beating New York. Louisville did not play yesterday, so we now have. They have 2 games. We've played 2 more games than them, so it'll even back out eventually. But right now, we are back in first place with 23 points. I think Louisville has 22, and I think Charleston has 20. I think it's us, Louisville, Charleston, and Pittsburgh, I believe. But yeah, where was I? Yeah, we bounced back after that game, and then I'm trying to think. It's been a while since I made a video. We've played. We laid a big egg against Charlotte, which I have no idea where that came from, and then we rebounded against Atlanta, which I was at these games. Atlanta, we looked awesome. Pittsburgh was before that. Pittsburgh, we tied 2-2. That was a hard-fought game, and we kind of figured stuff out after halftime, and we were able to get a 2-2 tie. Atlanta, United 2. That was a big game. Won, I think, 4-2. We looked really good. Probably our best game up until that point. It was a little alarming. We would score 2 goals and then give up 1. And then we would score another 2 goals and give up 1. Like, we were giving up goals quickly after we score, which was a little alarming. The best game of the season I also went to. I've been to up until today. I've been to every home game. I will not be going to the next league home game. I won't be at the game. With the way my work is, I can't go to weeknight games, so I will not be at this Wednesday's game against Minnesota United. And then the next league game I will not go to. I gave someone my tickets. Which I believe it's against either Richmond or Bethlehem. I can't remember which one, but I will not be going to that game, and then we will be out of town the following week, so I'll miss Richmond. So, yeah, there'll be 2 games I won't go to. But I've been to every game so far. The best game of the season, by far, which is, saying a lot. We're in first place, so we've had a good season, other than basically laying eggs against Louisville. North Carolina FC. We had Nazmi had 2 goals against his former team, which is refreshing because normally Cincinnati is the victim of the former player going to his former team karma. They were amazing, and that was our best game so far. I think they scored 1. I think it was 4-1, 3-1. They scored late to break the clean sheet, but we should have had a clean sheet. That was the best game of the season so far. Basically, so far this season, it's been a gradual improvement every game, which has been nice. I still think there are things we can shore up defensively. I don't think our defense, which we're a little more of an offensive-minded team this year than we were last year. With the roster Koch had last year, I don't think he could do a lot of the stuff. Basically, we have more talent offensively. With Emmanuel Ledesma and Danny Koenig, we have a lot more talent in the attacking, so we can do more. But obviously, when you do more attacking and you can do more, it's just going to take away from your defense. So I want us to try to find a little more of a medium. We have the talent defensively. Forrest Lasso and Buchanan are 2 really good defensemen. And then we have Patty Barrett backing them up. I'm not sure who will play on Wednesday. This past Saturday, Deco Kynan had a yellow card. You got basically, if you get so many yellow cards in league play, you're suspended a game. And he missed yesterday because of the yellow card rule. So it'll be interesting to see if he will play Minnesota or if they'll just give him a week off and he'll come back this Saturday. But yeah, basically the season is pretty simple. We've gotten better and better as the season has gone. The 2 outliers, for whatever reason, are Louisville. And what makes it more kind of not really kind of frustrating is that our 2 Louisville games have been at Nippert. So it's not even like we've had to go to like Louisville in a hard environment, which, I mean, I respect Louisville. I don't think their environment is that big, that hard. They don't fill the stadium like we do. They fill the stadium when they play us because about half the stadium are FCC fans. So I'm pretty sure we only play one more time. So I think they've already won the Dirty River Derby or whatever it's called, which won't matter as long as we win the USL Cup. I think we only play one more time, and it's at Louisville, and I think it's like in September, like it's later in the season. So yeah, I could totally see us winning that like 4-0. Like they stump us twice at home, where I mean, you could argue maybe sometimes they act like they play better on the road because there's less pressure, but the guys on this team are veterans. These aren't young. I mean, the guys on this team have experience from other countries playing in big crowds and playing it in pressure. So there shouldn't be like, I think last year there was a little bit of I think the last year's team was younger, so there was a little more of like a pressure because we're playing it. And because let's face it, USL, you're not used to playing in front of 20, 25,000 people. But this team has veterans in it, so there really shouldn't be a pressure from playing in front of a big crowd. So yeah, they'll either below last or close to last. They didn't have a great season. I think they're entering their season, but they're kind of what everyone is comparing us to. They're a team that played in a lower division and going to MLS. They didn't make the transition that well, and I think they're getting better. I've heard there's a couple. It looks like Minnesota United is going to be the template, the MLS expansion template that we need to follow and basically do what they don't do. Because it feels like we don't want to be Minnesota. I'm not saying we might be Minnesota, but I want us to be more like Atlanta or LA contending right now. Yeah, a lot of people are comparing us to Minnesota just because LAFC and Atlanta United, they didn't have teams before they went to MLS. It was just an expansion bid. Like us, Minnesota United played the NASL, and then they went to MLS. Now they didn't go in 8 months. Like we're literally going to have an 8-month turnaround from announcement to MLS. I think Minnesota United, off the top of my head, I think they had like a year and a half. They had a year and a half. So they had a little more time to transition. I think they kept 5 guys. They kept 5 guys on their NASL roster. I'm thinking we might be able to kick more because, like I said, I'm still convinced that Alan Koch and Jeff Burton knew we were going to MLS. Like they knew a while ago, and that's why they were making the big signings. Now, I mean, I know that sounds funny. You're like, well, they signed MLS players, guys. Now you guys just lost to Louisville. It's like if we have a lot of our MLS guys now, we might be in trouble because I do want some new MLS players because I love this team and they're really good. But I hope we don't keep the majority of our players because I mean there is a caliber of MLS. I want to be like Atlanta LAFC. Now I think we can keep. Which has been a fun drill a lot of FCC fans have done the last week and a half. I would like to keep Forrest Lasso because he is young and he hasn't really blossomed yet, so he can kind of get better. And once a year or two from now, he could be MLS. I'm not saying he's MLS right now. Emmanuel Ledesma is interesting. That's pretty much of any FCC fan I talk to, that's the number one guy they want, Emmanuel Ledesma. But he takes up a DP spot, which is a designated player, which I guess is like a player from another country. And as much as I like Emmanuel Ledesma, normally that's like a big player. Like I think Orlando City got Kaká. NYCFC got, I think his last name Vela. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm new to soccer, but I do know he's a good player. Like most guys' DPs are like another country. Like I'm not saying we're going to get Ronaldo or Zlatan level, but that's supposed to be a big signing. And then much as I like Emmanuel Ledesma, But like I said, I don't know how it works. I don't know how many DPs you get, or if one DP can be like a younger player that you still develop. Because I think that would still be Emmanuel Ledesma. But yeah, it'll be exciting as the season goes. I think they have 8 months. I think they have MLS preseason is actually in January or end of January, which they're like a month ahead. They're a month ahead of USL. So we're basically going to be working on we're going to end our season as USL and begin next season as MLS. So basically it's going to make our off season shorter, which, I mean, I'm all for it, but we're working on a short off season. So it'll be interesting to see. Like I said, hopefully they had him a while ago, so they've prepared themselves for the move. But yeah, so yeah, that's about it. Good week for FCC. We go to MLS, and then we cap off the weekend by beating the Baby Bulls, New York Red Bulls 2-1. They scored early. First half was kind of poo-poo, but we came back. Manuel Ledesma scored one. A very good angle with a. He's actually 31. I didn't know he was that old, so he probably will not be going to MLS. But yeah, he scored a goal, and that was it. So, good week for FCC. We play Minnesota United. I know it's an away match.